Alrighty. Hello, I'm Simon, coming to you from the Student Project channel, and with me today is Scarlett, Ipo, and Daniel, who are also part of the Student Project. Today, we have a great opportunity to talk with Marissa Molina, author of The Adventure of Poi'n Kai and The Seashell Snatcher. Hello, Marissa. It's wonderful to have you with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Okay, it's wonderful to meet you, Marisa. To start, can you share a little bit about yourself and where you're from and where you are now? And what inspired you to write a story about Poi'n Kai?
Of course. So my name is Marissa Molina. I'm originally from Wisconsin. I've been living on the island of Maui for 11 years. Ipo was one of my first friends here on island. um, what inspired me to write about Poi'n Kai is I've always enjoyed being creative, whether that's through art or singing or writing. And being here for the last 11 years, I've fallen in love with not just the Polynesian culture, but all the cultures that are here between Filipino, Puerto Rican, Portuguese. There's so many Korean, Japanese, different cultures. And I really wanted to write a kid's book that kind of encompassed kind of like our Maui community and the blends of cultures that are here in a fun, creative way. And I'm such a sci-fi nerd that, of course, it has to be set on another planet in a different galaxy. Uh,
Thank
did
you,
that
Marisa,
yeah.
for sharing that inspiration. It's fantastic to see how your personal experiences and love for Maui's culture has shaped your storytelling. What do you enjoy most about writing for children?
Mm. I would say ever since I was a kid, I always enjoyed working with children. I find them to be very inspiring, very honest, very genuine. I love to meet people where they're at and just try to understand who they are. And even with kids, you can do that. And um, having not had the best childhood myself, I can empathize with people and kids of different backgrounds. And what I enjoy about writing kids' books is finding a topic, any topic that kids can relate to, and then put a different twist or spin on it to see things from a different perspective. So in The Adventures of Poi'n Kai and The Seashell Snatcher, there's um, her shells get stolen and she assumes someone did it on purpose. But in the end, it was just an accident. And so that's a perspective that, happens in everyday life and happens with kids too. And I wanted to share a different perspective on, when something goes wrong, like, is it what we initially think, or could it be something else? And, just kind of, I feel like sometimes with kids books, they make it very simple. They make the plot very easy. And I want kids to think a little bit more, I guess.
Oh, that's cool. So basically, your perspective is to challenge the kids while they're reading, not just to read. So,
Exactly.
what was your process like for developing the character of Poi'n Kai?
Um, I guess I always loved the movie Moana. So to have Disney nerd, of course. So I kind of wanted a character that was kind of like spunky and brave, but also very human, very with flaws and maybe not so brave, maybe more insecure. Because Poi and Kai complement each other's personalities, where Kai, she gets defeated easily, she gets discouraged easily, where Poi is the more optimistic one, more encouraging, kind of more of like a dog-like personality, like, oh, dogs are always positive. um, and so it was fun to try to create Poi with a dog-like personality, but also that can speak and have humanistic type of empathy and characteristics, but also that loyalty and that bond with her. And then for Kai, you know, I'm writing the second book, and so the second book is getting to develop their characters a little bit more, more in depth, because you know it's a series, and so it's I get to use my imagination of what would she do in this certain situation? How would Poi react in that certain situation? So it's kind of taking my own personal experiences and kind of putting them onto the characters, but then also making it their own, like their own personalities too. Yeah.
I see. You've clearly given a lot of thought to Poi'n Kai's journey. I'm curious about the challenges you encountered developing your story. Can you tell us like some of the biggest obstacles you faced while writing this book?
Oh boy. I would say for me, the biggest obstacle was I'm white. I don't, I didn't grow up here. And so there's a lot of Polynesian and cultural references or just things like that. So for me, it was really hard for me to, because I had originally a very different story. I had included a lot more Hawaiian culture and Polynesian culture. And I realized, okay, you can't write about something you don't know, or even if you do all the research and all of this, if you don't know what you're writing about, you could easily take something out of context. You could be disrespecting the culture. And so for me, I had to simplify all of that and kind of talk to Ipo, talk to different Uncle John, different people that I knew of Polynesian background, my friend Manatu, who is Tongan, and just kind of be like, okay, how is this script? Is there anything that I put in there that I should change that's disrespectful? And in the script itself, I don't really put too much anything. And then so the other challenge was the illustrations. Okay, how do I depict a Polynesian futuristic world that's also respectful and kind and not cultural appropriating or anything like that? So I'd say for me, in that aspect, for me in my story, that was the hardest. But in terms of writing in general, I would say once you know your characters, it'll be a lot easier to write, you know, because and another thing is like I tried to start from page 1 and work to page 10, where you just write a page and then you can move that page to page 1 or page 7 or something like that. You just write a page, and whatever, you can always build it off of it. You can move it around, and I've done that so many times, and I wish I had known that the first time writing, because now writing the second book is a lot easier, knowing that you don't have to start page 1. How is it going to start? You know, you develop your characters, you develop a scenario, and then you just create from there.
Well, that's cool. And I personally appreciate your thought into, considering the culture for sure, because you know how they get in Hawaii.
I do.
So what message do you hope readers take away from your book?
I hope from the adventures of Poi'n Kai and the Seashell Snatcher that they understand grace, that they understand, perspective. That, you know, if you see something from your lens, then, you know, it's not allowing you to see things from other people's perspectives. So being able to have an open mind with a gracious heart, and being forgiving. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a really beautiful message. We appreciate you sharing it with us. How did you feel when you saw the first copy of your book?
It was pretty surreal. I don't know. It was pretty crazy to see it. I grabbed it out just in case you guys wanted to see it. But yeah, when I first got it in the mail, it actually came in a book. So it wasn't just one that I saw. It was a whole 100 of them. And that was just a lot to process. It was really crazy to be like, oh my gosh, I wrote this and there's 100 of them. Yeah, and then to just like open up and see it, because before you see it published, it's all on the screen. So to be able to be like, oh wow, see the illustrations, feel the pages and all the little details. It was really cool.
Yeah, I can only imagine how thrilling that moment must have been for you. Holding the first copy in your hands must have felt truly magical. What advice would you give to aspiring authors?
Mm, I would say always be thinking about what you're going to be writing, because some people think that, oh, I didn't write today, oh, I haven't write in a week, I haven't wrote in a month, I'm not writing, and then that can be discouraging. But I think as long as you're thinking in the back of your mind what your plot is, because everything throughout your day can inspire you, whether you're going to the store or you're at home with your family, it can be inspiring, like, oh, I can include that into my story, or oh, I didn't, this happened to me today, that could be interesting, how would my characters react in that situation, and so if you're always thinking about your characters, um and what they'd be doing, and just thinking about your plot, you're still writing in your mind, you're still writing. And then when you do actually go to sit down, you're going to have a lot in your mind to think about that you can just start writing out. And even if it doesn't make sense, or if it's not complete sentences, or if it's just one word, you just get your thoughts out on the paper or on the computer, and from there you can just start piecing things together. It doesn't have to be like, in the beginning, blah 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 blah. It can just be like, just a thought,
Yeah.
like parachute. That'd be cool if they went parachuting. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your insights with our audience. I'm confident your wisdom will inspire many aspiring writers. Before we wrap up, is there any project you're currently working on that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. Thank you. I'm actually working on two. So Poi'n Kai will have a sequel about bullying. I feel like that's something that everybody experiences and something that anyone can relate to. And I, whether you're a child or an adult, you can be bullied at any age. And, I'm taking my personal experiences with that and putting it in Poi'n Kai's universe. And for me, even as a writer, that is therapy. I get to work through my own trauma while getting to help others, from that perspective. And I really hope that, yeah, it will be relatable and understandable to kids. And in my story, there, and I feel like in most bully stories, there's a redemption for the bully. And I, again, have a different perspective where in my story, there is no redemption. And how do you deal with a bully that doesn't want to change? And so that's kind of where my characters will be, and how do they overcome that, how do they deal with that, how do they think of themselves in that situation, how do they let it affect them. And yeah. And then the other book is called Diamond Island, and that is basically a prequel to Poi'n Kai. It's going to be about Kai's mom and her journey, a little bit delving more into the futuristic world, if you will.
Nice.
And actually, not just that, it's also a book on grief. Again, processing trauma.
Well, that's fantastic. Can you share with us where can people purchase your books? Do you have page where they can follow you for updates?
Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, thank you. So you can get Poi'n Kai on Amazon, Barnes and Noble online, Amazon online, and then Goodreads. So I don't have it in any physical stores yet, but hopefully someday. Oh, and then I post my updates on Imagination Reality. It's my Instagram page, and that's where I post my updates.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Marisa, for sharing your passion for writing and insights into your creative process. Your dedication to sparking imagination and nurturing young minds through storytelling is truly inspiring. We look forward to seeing more of your captivating stories and the positive impact they will continue to have on readers of all ages.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was so nice to meet you all. You guys, English is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.